Come on, baby. Go, 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 go. He's got it. Yes.
Hey, what's up guys? Mike Westerdahl here from leanhybridmuscle.com, and I'm just going to go over some instructional tips for the bench press. I got some notes here just so I don't miss anything. First thing I'm going to start off with is just going over a couple different setups. So I'll show you the first one. This is where you slide under the bar. You want to plant your feet where you want to keep them. Now you arch back. Now drop your head down. You want your eyes right underneath the bar. The really important thing right here is to squeeze your shoulder blades together. You want to squeeze your rhomboids together. That gives you a base. You can also see that there's a real nice arch underneath my back. So that's one setup. I'm in a pretty good position right here. Now I have a pretty natural arch in my back right here, and I have really tight hip flexors just because I sit down a lot during the day. So I have a little bit of a different setup that helps me get a little bit more of an arch. And I'll show you the way I set up. This is another option if anybody else has tight hip flexors. I still go underneath. I grab here, and I get my shoulder blades tucked in. Now I kick one leg back at a time to get them planted in. My eyes are still lined up right underneath the bar. This is the starting position. Shoulder blades pulled together, arch in the back, feet planted on the ground, eyes under the bar. That's how you want to start the setup. Alright, next we're just going to talk about your grip, which is actually a lot more important than people think. The first thing I'm going to show you is where to grab the bar. If you're not sure how wide you want to hold the bar, the best thing to do is just do a push-up. And wherever your natural hands go as a push-up position, that's a good spot to start working on the bench. Now, the wider your arms go out, the more you decrease the range of motion. If you decrease the range of motion, you're going to be able to press more weight. So you want to gradually move your fingers out over time. But this isn't something you do during the same workout or even from week to week. It's a gradual process. So I'm going to show you the rings right here on the bar. Let's say your natural position was to have your pointer fingers on the rings. Then you maybe do 3 weeks. Eventually you want to get moved out all the way out. This is as far as you want to go. Index fingers on the rings. You might start off with your fingers here. So you want to train maybe 2-3 weeks before you try to move out to the next finger. I'm all the way out here. Next thing is your wrists. If you watch my wrists, this is correct. You want to have the wrist completely straight. This helps you transfer the power. This would be incorrect. You take it like this, and let your wrists bend backwards, and as you're coming down, it's harder to stabilize. So you want to keep your wrists straight. Another thing you want to do is squeeze the bar as hard as you possibly can. The harder you're squeezing that bar, the more motor units and muscle fibers you can recruit. So you'll be able to use more muscles and press more weight. Definitely squeeze the bar as hard as you can. That also brings up the next point, which is using a false grip. Always wrap your thumbs around the bar completely. If you don't wrap your thumbs around and you have a grip like this, that's a false grip. And I've seen some guys lift a lot of weight that way. I mean, you can get strong that way, but it's not that safe. It can roll off you and fall down and hurt you. So, you know, definitely wrap your thumbs around, and that's also, by having the thumbs around, you're going to be able to squeeze harder. A lot of people ask me questions too about wrist wraps. When do you want to use wrist wraps? I think wrist wraps are great. They're going to support your wrists and they're going to help you bench press more weight. The problem with them is if you wear them too often with your lighter sets, you're also going to kind of shelter those wrists and your wrists might wind up getting weaker.
So I would say definitely start off with your lighter sets and don't use wrist wraps. Get your wrists nice and strong. But as you get close to maybe anything that's triples, doubles, or singles for your reps, that's when you'd want to put wrist wraps on just for that extra support. All right, next point I wanted to talk about is a mistake a lot of people make, which is overextending. I mentioned earlier that you want to squeeze your shoulder blades together. You see this range of motion here? Where if I go like this, look how much farther the bar has to travel if I push it all the way up. Now if I hold my shoulder blades together and I just lock out to here, it's a lot shorter stroke, so you don't want to overextend. And I'm going to show you how people do that when they unrack. A lot of people overextend, which is what you want to avoid. This is the wrong way to do it.
Unracking the bar or getting a hand off and totally pushing it all the way up here. Coming down and pushing it all the way up like that. That's overextending. It's just making you push extra inches that you don't need. Here would be the right way to do it. You got your shoulder blades dug back into the bench. You just barely slide it off right to here. This is locked out position. Come down. Right back to here.
No overextension. All right, next point is going to be holding your air. This is so opposite to what you do with most other exercises. When you're lifting heavy weight on the bench press, you actually want to hold your air. You want to take a breath as you unrack the weight. Then you stabilize the weight and you take a rebreath. Now you hold that breath the entire lift. So you come down, don't let the air out, push all the way up. You're holding your breath the entire lift. Most people when they're lifting, they take a breath on the way down and they breathe out on the way up. So just watch me taking my air and you'll see what I mean.
Okay, right here, first breath. Stabilize, breathe out, one more breath.
That helps you keep your body tight the entire time you're pressing by holding your air. If you let the air out, you've lost your solid base, you've lost your foundation. You got to also remember that the bench is not just an upper body lift. You want to use your legs, you want to use your quads, and you want to drive with your feet. So as you're pressing, it's a full movement. As you're pressing up, you drive your feet into the ground, your quads should contract, and drive your heels and your feet into the floor to help you lift more weight. If you've done this lift correctly, you can actually... All right, this is probably my #1 tip, and something you can use right away to help you bench press more weight. It's probably the #1 mistake that I see people make in the gym. And this has to do with flaring your elbows. This is the #1 mistake I see people make, is to use an L-shaped bench form where they come down like this. Sometimes it's called a bodybuilder bench. And I used to bench like this a long time, and you can definitely get a good bench going like that. But the problem is, as time goes on, that puts a lot of strain on your shoulders. You meet a lot of people that say, yeah, I don't bench heavy anymore because my shoulders hurt and I have rotator cuff problems. This is how you're going to alleviate those problems. Now, your bench might go down a little bit at the beginning, but just keep practicing this, and I promise you that your bench will go past where it was before using your old technique. So this is the technique that's normal, what you see most people in the gym doing. They grab here, they flare their elbows out to the side, and they touch the bar kind of high right here. This puts a lot of strain on the shoulders. The correction you're going to make is when you're unracking it, you unrack it to here, turn your elbows like this, so they're facing in. This is called tucking your elbows. You got your hands in the exact same spot, but as you're lowering the weight now, it's impossible to flare your elbows. You're keeping them in, and it makes you touch lower on your chest. So instead of touching up here, you're going to touch a little bit right below your nipples. Let me just demonstrate the L-shaped bodybuilder form, and then the powerlifting bench. This is the one that puts a little strain on your shoulders. Kind of hurt just doing that. But here's the other one. Same exact grip with the hands, right? So you unrack the weight,
Now right here you make a little correction. Just turn your elbows in, twist them in. Alright, now as you're coming down, tuck your elbows into your side. And it's going to make you lower the bar, lower on your chest. Stay tight, push it straight up. So instead of going like this, you're going to turn your elbows in, keep them close to your side, come down right about here, and push in a straight line straight back up. So give these bench techniques a try. You know, it might be hard to get all of them down at once in the first workout, but you know, work on one at a time. You can incorporate them, and over time these things will definitely help you. I have people asking me all the time, hey Mike, how many sets should I do? How many reps should I do? What's the best bench press assistance exercise? And I can answer all these questions, but when it comes down to it, if your form is off or you have bad technique, none of those answers matter. The very first thing that you need to get down is proper bench technique and form. When you got that right, then it's time to start experimenting with different assistance exercises and other things you can do with reps and sets.